We're going to be all right. I think it's going to be okay. I really believe that. This topic is something that was put to me by, well, many people actually, but more recently, some people who are feeling like their life is a bit of a mess. And obviously, while it will be difficult for me to relate to that because my life has never been a mess, I can do my best to empathize with what it is that people are going through. That was a joke, by the way. Life gets messy all the time. And I think some of the difficulty with it is our feelings of unsafety, of I want to control this flow, I want to control this thing that's going on, rather than can I move and direct and flow with it, and respond to it, rather than having this perfect idea of here's how it should be in my mind, here's what I think it should be, and the gap between here's what I think it should be in my mind because I've had that thought and therefore it must be true, or I've believed it or buying into it, and here's where it is. And the gap between those two things can be quite painful sometimes for people. And obviously there is a utility in being able to have some kind of a vision or some idea or some dream, being able to dream up this idea of what you would like life to be or what you want your life to be, and then just gently releasing all of the resistance to come into resonance with that thing, the parts that don't feel like maybe that's possible, the thought structures, the beliefs, the ideas, the unconscious parts. So we're going to do a little bit of tapping around that today and see what life being a mess is actually all about, and if we can have some power with it instead of some power over it. So we'll start by putting a hand on the belly and a hand on the chest and noticing where your breathing is today. Notice where you're at in your body. What feels alive to you, what kind of sensations are going on, where your attention is immediately drawn to. As soon as you start to plug into and connect to where you are, you notice what's going on inside the body, the different sensations where you might feel these points of pressure. Maybe contact points with the ground, the feet, seat bones on the chair. And as you become aware of the sensations within the body and the breath, and how the breath relates to those sensations in the body, the inhale, the exhale, creates a different stream of sensations, a different flow of sensations. You can also start to become aware of the space around the body, the space that the body's contained within. And as you start to become aware of that space, you can just notice what kind of effect that has on your system. What's the tempo, the rhythm, the cadence, the pace of your nervous system this morning? What's the pitch? What's the texture, the emotional tonality? All of these different things, this moving, dynamic process of body in relationship with the environment, breathing it in, letting it out. So just bringing a little bit of awareness to the reality of where you are right now, rather than the narrative that tends to pull your system along into states of survival stress. Take breaths, take yawns whenever you feel them appropriate. And we're going to start tapping around the chest. My life feels like such a mess right now. My life feels like such a mess right now. Feel free to ad-lib this. You can repeat these things after me, or you can ad-lib them as you feel appropriate, whatever fits your context better. Move to the liver. All this chaos in my life. Wrist to wrist. This incredible chaos in my life. Top of the head. Life just doesn't do what I want it to do. Beginning of the eye. It's so messy. Side of the eye. It's so messy. Under the eye. And that feels really stressful. Under the nose. I can't handle this kind of stress. The chin. I don't know what to do with it. I feel so tense. I feel like I have to do something about this right now. And I don't feel safe. But I also feel completely helpless. And that doesn't feel safe either. My system is in complete disarray. There's so much chaos in my life. And I need to control it so I can feel safe. And maybe life is trying to give me something. But it really doesn't feel safe. Okay, go hand on the belly, hand on the chest, and just tune into what that might feel like. Maybe a feeling of lack of safety if you start to feel that. What the tempo of that lack of safety is, if that quickened heartbeat, is that tension or knot in the stomach, a feeling of dread, a feeling of looming, tense dread, something like that. You can allow that feeling to be there without trying to push it around, without trying to get rid of it, but actually relax the muscles of the face, relax the muscles in the hips, consciously focusing on tensing and relaxing whichever muscles are there and tense, and breathing through the whole process as well. And we'll start on the top of the head. All this lack of safety. Beginning of the eye. My nervous system feels really unsafe. And the thoughts are reflective of that. Agitated, high-pitched thoughts. Or slow, helpless, powerless thoughts. I feel like I move between those two states all the time. It feels really disconcerting. I can't handle life in this state of survival stress. It feels too overwhelming. And I feel too anxious. And a part of me believes I have to get it exactly right. Otherwise something really bad's going to happen. And maybe I don't even know what that is. But my mind is pretty adept at imagining worst case scenarios. And then when I believe those worst case scenarios, I start to feel even more stressed. Which makes me believe even more worst case scenarios. And the cycle continues until I'm exhausted. And I've been doing this for a really long time. There's so much survival stress stored in my body. I really want to let it go. I really want to let my system come down. From this state of hypervigilance. And I also want to let it rise up. From this state of helplessness and powerlessness. I constantly feel like what I'm doing is not enough. That feels so sad. And so painful. I can't keep up with life. I just can't do it. It's moving too fast. And things keep happening that are outside my control. And while there's nothing I can do about that directly, maybe what I can do is connect with myself right here, right now. Maybe I have the power to be here with myself. Right here, right now. Being with all of these parts of me that are stressed. Offering them the kind of connection they need. So they can discharge and diffuse. And I can finally feel safe letting go. Life's not always going to do what I want it to do. maybe it's not my job to control it. Maybe it's just my job to help myself feel safe, to relax my system as much as possible. To breathe with it, to move with it, and to flow with it. As best I can. And I'm going to get that wrong. Again and again and again. I'm tired of caring about that. I'm tired of putting so much pressure on myself. I'm tired of trying to be perfect. Just so I can get the love. Maybe the love's right here, right now. And in connecting with myself right here, right now, I can start to have a different perspective on the kind of love that's available for me in each and every moment. When I allow myself to slow down, when I allow myself to take a pause, when I pay attention to my breath, when I pay attention to my body, when I start to let myself exhale fully, trusting that there's going to be another inhale. And as long as I keep doing that, I'm still in the game. I don't have to control life to feel safe. I'm going to start to choose that idea. And see where I can practice it. See where it wants to take me. And maybe it hasn't always felt that way. Maybe I learned growing up and from those around me that I really did have to control life. In order to feel safe, in order to feel loved, in order to relax. But I wonder if that's true. Life's always going to give me things I don't expect. And are these things good? Or are these things bad? That's what my brain's always trying to determine. But the truth is, I don't actually know. And maybe I can find good things within the bad things. With the right kind of perspective. And maybe that perspective is within my control. And I don't have to get it right all the time. And I don't have to be perfect. But I can be here right now. And I don't know any other option better than that. So choosing to be here now. With whatever life is giving me. Choosing to be here right now. In the discomfort, in the pain, and choosing to connect deeply with myself. So all that pent-up survival stress can discharge. And I wonder what my perspective looks like right now. When it's not clouded by all that survival stress. So choosing to be here right now. And showing up with appreciation. For all the things my body does. That I barely notice. Its beating heart. Its breathing lungs. Its many complicated systems. All trying to protect me. And keep me alive. Even if sometimes I have to reassure it. That actually right now it's safe. Right here, right now in this moment. I'm choosing to feel safe. Hand on the chest, hand on the belly. See if you can feel which parts of your body need reassurance. Feeling the boundary of your own skin. So you can be aware of where you are physically. Taking some breaths with an extended exhale. Shake the hands. Stretch up. Take a yawn if one of those is available. You can roll the neck, roll the shoulders. Hopefully that helps you in bringing a little bit of that survival stress down. It's very, very common that we experience these two kind of tones. One of them is like a very shut down tone. The other one's like a high stress. I need to fight this thing, or I need to like get away from this thing. We experience those at the same time and oscillate between the two. It's just survival stress. Like that's what's happening. Sometimes it's justified, sometimes life is giving you something where that reaction is justified, but then staying in it after the event has passed can have a lot of detrimental effects. And the more that you practice being in that survival stress mode, the more the thoughts and the narratives and the sounds, the complex kind of sounds of thoughts are going to reflect that survival stress body. And so you'll be able to hear in the pitch, the tempo of the thoughts, like, is this a thought that's like, this is urgent, and not to make that wrong or bad and not to push it away, but just to kind of welcome it in. Like, okay, let's see. I'm listening. I don't want to shut this thing down. I don't want to try to get rid of it. It's like I want to listen to it, but listen to it deeply, to really be here with it, to understand, is what it's talking about real right now? And if it's not, to approach these things that you're dealing with, whatever it is that you're dealing with in life, a sense of a good body grounding is going to help open up your perspective, because then you're not in this kind of limited resources of the survival brain, but actually in more peripheral vision, where you can see more of the lay of the land and actually start to decide and choose your response to what life's giving you, rather than being in reactivity to it. So yeah, this is very, very common, and particularly now, because it feels like the world is on a trajectory and things are just running away from people, or maybe that's just me, I don't know. But either which way, useful for me, useful for you. Hopefully you got something out of that, and good luck with the rest of your day, and have a great one. I'll see you soon.